Greetings, everyone. So, I just wanted to share my thoughts on Zach, the one involved, or not necessarily involved, but saying negative things about the Scientology protesters. On the one hand, he acts like an agent, right? And I have to say, I had watched one of Rabbit's videos earlier, and I agree with the things she's saying, but I was already thinking this before I watched her video. When I watched that swatting of Zach, it was way too orchestrated. And I'm not going to comment on his mental health. Number one, I'm not a mental health professional. And two, I don't think that it's the time or place for me to say anything on that, because clearly there's some things that are standing out, you know. But if you guys go back and watch, I watched Nerd Report, and I watched the original Zach swatting. And did you see how Zach probably had the reaction that nobody, like a very different reaction to that swatting than most people would have. Most people would have been scared because they have GUNs pointed at them. And most people would have, whether they like LAPD or not, they're going to listen to what they're saying. And Zach didn't seem to kind of, I don't know if he didn't grasp what was going on. I don't think that was it. I'm going to say this. Put it like this. It was very smooth and orchestrated looking to me. I would say LAPD is really out of control out there, but again, it is easy for us to judge them because we haven't walked in their shoes, and I imagine a lot of the calls that they've gotten haven't gone very well for them. But I don't like how Zach was handcuffed for so long. But maybe it's just a safety to the officers. I don't know. Because again, we're not doing their job. But most people would have been scared shitless. I actually had I guess you could say it was a swatting. This happened to me years ago. It was crazy. It was so crazy. And it was because my car had been stolen. It's a long story. Just FYI, if you ever have your car stolen, make sure you call the police back and let them know that it's recovered. Just FYI. So I actually did have guns pulled on me and stuff. It was crazy. I was a little heavier at the time. I was wearing an Indian sari skirt. It was crazy. It was terrifying. So Zach is just like talking to them. This is a fake squad, or what did he say? He was saying like, it's a swatting, or something like that. Most people wouldn't do that. I mean, it's like fair enough to tell the police that you think somebody had called on you. And I'm going to do another video on what my opinions are. And last time I checked, opinions are free. But okay, so if you want to brainstorm or theorize what's going on, as much as I don't care for how Scientology fair games people, I don't even really think that Scientologists, I know there are a lot of them, the fair gamers are desperate, but I don't think most people would have hired Zach. Like, it did cross my mind, but he just is a little, he's a little bit out there. So I think that if anyone wanted to pay a controlled agent, they're going to want someone who's easier to control. I did find a lot of the things that the LAPD were saying and doing a little odd, but you know what else is new? And when Zach was sitting on the curb and he had his hands cuffed, he was just as calm as a cucumber. Well, I find there's a few things I think. I'm not going to say everything that I think, but that's a little odd, wouldn't you all agree? Wouldn't you be a little frickin' nervous when somebody swatted you? Like, not in touch with what was really going on, and I think the cop kind of got that gist. One of the cops that were standing over him, he was like, well, at least you're safe and all that, you know. So that was odd. And then, of course, he's saying conveniently that it was DOA that called on him, Jessica Palmadessa that called on him, and William Good. And I have a lot of thoughts on that one. Zach did appear to be very intelligent to me. And I'm not saying he's not, but as far as street smarts, how many people do you know that would want William Good against you? Not me. So, of course, it would be convenient because those three people would be three of Scientology's main enemies, right? You know how they have to have enemies because they can't just live in peace and people can't talk to each other. You have to have disconnection and all the division in that. They really couldn't survive without all the division. That's why they work so hard at it. You know, with the isolation, with the separating the marriages and all these things. And I think some people had brought up, they thought maybe Zach had made the call. I don't think that he would do that. I mean, he might have, but I don't think that he's that dumb to do something like that. So what I'm thinking in my mind is that, one, Zach is not an agent. But I have seen, he does appear intelligent. I don't want to talk about all the things he's done because they're quite malicious and evil, in my opinion. But he doesn't appear, I don't think he has a lot of street smarts, but he doesn't appear like an ignorant, dumb person. So I think what he was trying to do was it was like this massive manipulation. I personally think it's all going to really backfire on him. And the fact that he had a knife and a machete, and he said it all loud, it's like, it struck me as if he had rehearsed it in his mind, like the things he was going to say. I'm not sure who did the swatting call, and I do have a lot of theories on this. And I'm going to make another video talking about it, and I'm going to be coded because I don't want to get any type of a lawsuit or anything like that. But it just seemed like everything was just smooth, you know what I mean? Like everything was just, I don't want to say orchestrated, but it kind of seemed orchestrated, but it was like, oh, it's no big deal, it's just a walk in the park, I'm getting swatted. It's a little alarming. Like even when this has happened to DOA, he gets a little upset. You know, he says things, of course. Zach had some really strange reactions. And what did he have the machete and the knife for? Like, granted, you're in LA, it's kind of a rough place, but a machete? I would really be curious to see his history. So again, like I think even Scientologists, fair gamers, would not want to hire someone like Zach because he's kind of out there and they're not going to be able to control him as well, I don't think. I mean, it could be. And I did kind of have suspicions for a while on that one. but he's just like a loose cannonball out there, you know what I mean? And given his ego, I don't think that he would want anyone to tell him what to do. So, and the lady, we live in LA, I would definitely say for her to be careful. Absolutely. I mean, let's just say that Zach was an agent, which I don't think he is. It would have really done the kind of damage if it went as they planned. Like, let's say that Scientologists planned for these things to happen. Split up DOA, William Good, Jessica Palma-Dessa, get people infighting. Put that on the police blotter so it's on record, which is like I think it's a harsh crime. I'm sure it is. It would work right into LAPD's hands, the ones that don't like Good. And I'm not saying all LAPD is bad. I don't mean that. But it would be a perfect scenario. But I really don't think I don't think that's what it was. I have a lot of thoughts about Zachary, but I will keep them to myself. And I would say my deduction is that Zach is non-agent. He is not an agent of Scientology or the LAPD. That's where I'm at right now. So everyone have a good night, good day, peace.